So hey everyone, Ryan here, Ryhno Racing, back again with another video. And this one, I'm not really sure where to start. We're just kind of winging it because this is a different kind of video. It's a video I didn't really think I was ever gonna make. Just not something I never really thought about.
It's an exciting video.
It is an exciting video. It's a different kind of exciting. And as you can kind of see from the title, it's talking about like a special award that I got. And I also want to use that as an opportunity to talk a bit more about racing and why you should all come check out racing, specifically motorcycle road racing. So I guess I'll start with some background. My racing series that I've been a part of for a long time, technically since 2014, was the Championship Cup Series, CCS. It's now changed ownership and it's now called ASRA, which is American Sport Bike Racing Association. Point is, I've been around the paddock for quite a while, and much like a lot of new people, especially in this situation, I didn't really know anybody when I got into racing, and I wanted to be part of that community and feel like I belonged. And a lot has happened since then. And I started out racing on a 250 Ninja, and I did a couple years on that, switched to a first gen SV650, did a couple years on that, then switched to a second gen SV650, and I was on that from 2018 up until 2022 was my last year on the SV. So a lot has happened. There's been a lot of people have come and gone. There's been a lot that have remained, especially like the staff and whatnot. And I haven't been able to race the full season all those times, but I've been able to make a few rounds each year. The years that I didn't get to do the entire season. Point being, is I always had some sort of presence, and through that things picked up, and I started control riding for motovid.com, and now I'm coaching and doing some lead in some of our groups. So a lot has changed, lots evolved. It's actually crazy to think how much has changed in that short amount of time, and because it doesn't really feel like it's been that long. And honestly, I know it kind of sounds silly. I'm almost like embarrassed to say I've been around that long, and I'm just finally starting to find some pace.
I mean, it's 10 years this coming season.
I know,
so.
and and that's why when I tell people that, because we're all competitors, we all want to be at the sharp end of the stick right away, and I tell guys when they start coming in, and because there's been a lot of people that it's their first, second year, third year, and they're upset because they're not at lap record pace yet, but they're in the top 5–10%. And I tell them, like, this is how long it's taken me just to get to that point, and you're already there. So you're well ahead of a lot of people. And I know people who have been around as long as I have, or longer even, and they still haven't been able to get up to the pace where they want to be. So we all learn at a different pace, and it's just different for different people, but I get it. I'm a racer too. Like I said, I'm kind of embarrassed that I've been at this for 10 years now, and I'm just finally starting to feel like I have some pace, and almost like I feel like I belong, which I know it sounds crazy to say, but
well, you belong at as a competitor at towards the front of the pack. You've always belonged within the community.
I know, but yeah, I guess it feels weird that, because I never am one that, I don't want to just roll around on the track just to roll around on the track. I want to put my best foot forward, and I know mentally, I can do whatever. It's just, and like I said, we all want to be at that sharp end. And yeah, especially jumping to a middleweight bike this last year, I felt like definitely I was a lightweight guy going to a middleweight bike, and I wanted to make that transition mentally and be seen to people like, oh yeah, that's Ryan, he races middleweight, he's a middleweight racer, he's in the meat grinder, not like, kind of like I'm a lightweight racer.
Oh, well, he was just a lightweight racer.
Yeah, he's a lightweight racer that's posing as a middleweight racer, but no, that's where I want to be. And that's where I feel like I belong. But the point being is I've always felt like, I want to be there, and I want people to see me as not only obviously a good person and a good competitor, but, and when I say good competitor, I mean, someone who's respectful and isn't like a dirty racer, and is a clean racer, and isn't a crasher, and above all is a fast racer. I mean, there's a lot of people that are fast, but people also say, there's that asterisk of maybe they're a dirty racer, or maybe they're a crasher. I guess I wouldn't say dirty race. I guess I would say, because I don't think anyone's out there to be dirty. I just think maybe some people aren't as clean.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Unnecessarily aggressive.
Yeah, and I know some will say like there's no such thing, but there is. Well, and especially in motorcycle racing where, and I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, but part of it with racing is motorcycles, we have inherently more risk and danger than car racing, right? In a lot of other sports. But I think honestly that's what ties us together, and I think it brings us closer and brings that, you know, mutual respect for one another. Even if there's a race you don't really get along with, we still have that respect. You know, all of us have 9-to-5 jobs, we have families, we have to go home, you know, at the end of the weekend, and we aren't out there to take anybody out and just do absolutely whatever to win. If that were the case, we'd be putting each other off track and kicking at each other and doing all this crazy stuff. And that's not the case. But I guess, well, I get it because I knew I was going to get sidetracked. So the reason I was giving background on racing series is the point is I've been around it for a long time, and I've always been one that gets the greatest joy out of helping others. And after experiencing all the camaraderie and the crazy respect and experiences that I've had in the racing paddock and being in the racing family, I want to share that with more people. And I want people to keep coming back. And it's hard for me when I hear people not coming back because maybe they had a bad race weekend, or maybe they accidentally got black flagged for something, or something happens to their family, or something happens to them. And so when I'm at the track, and even when I'm not, I'm trying to do whatever I can to make sure people have a positive experience, because I want people to experience it. Once you're there and you experience it, it's just, you're just stuck, you're just there. Like, people get it and they want to keep coming back.
I literally lose him at the track if he's not in our pit.
Yeah, other than my racing nickname being Ryhno for my first and last name, her nickname for me is Social Butterfly, because I'm just gone
all
everywhere.
The time.
And people will come and be like, "Where's Ryan?" Like, I don't know. He's around here somewhere.
Great question.
Yeah. And I'm not doing any of this because like I want everyone to just see me as like, oh, Ryan knows everything and he's the man with all this stuff. Like, because if any of you watched my other videos, I don't take compliments well. I'm not doing this for any sort of glory or recognition.
He's terrible, even for me.
It's awkward. Even just talking about it feels awkward. I mean, even if I was in MotoGP and won the championship and people were telling me how awesome I was, or if I was like a Marc Marquez type person, I'd still be like, yeah.
I could have gone faster.
Yeah, or like, I'm okay. I mean,
anyways.
Yeah, but where I'm getting that at is, so we had our awards banquet just this last weekend for ASRA, and we haven't had a formal awards banquet since 2019 because of COVID and like I said, ownership change, and there's been a lot of things happening. So I wanted to make sure we went to the banquet because we also were told that this was going to be the last formal banquet. Maybe there will be more, but as of right now, this is going to be the last one. So since we hadn't been to a banquet since 2019, like I said, we wanted to go. I didn't have any awards to pick up, so I thought, but I wanted to be there to support everybody. I had a lot of friends who did really well this year. They put in a lot of hard work. You know, Eric, Steve, Matt, a lot of those guys. You know, I could go on. Sean, there's Luis, Chuck. You know, there's tons of people. Monson, yeah. You know, Jansen. I mean, I could list off everybody. Schwags. I pretty much could list off the whole paddock. I mean, everybody put in a lot of hard work, and you know, I wanted to be there to support them. And since it was going to be the last one, so we were at the banquet as per usual. Everyone was handing out the awards. They did the format a little bit different where they were just listing the top 3 in each class. In years past, what they do is they would list off everyone in alphabetical order by first name. Now,
all their
awards, so they get them all at once. Now, Rick Brewer, our racing director, started doing, it was way before I started racing. I think he said he passed this, someone else started this award, I think before him maybe, but I don't remember. It's all kind of a blur.
I blanked out at some point.
Yeah. But what Rick Brewer has is this award that the CCS staff, like they'll get together with our Learning Curves coaches, and Learning Curves is the new rider school. So if you want to become a racer in the Midwest, you take Learning Curves, and that's what the class you take to obtain your racing license. So they get together with those the coaches for Learning Curves, and Rick gets together with them, and then they sit and they talk about a racer that they want to recognize as basically someone who they think is a great ambassador for the sport and does a lot to promote racing and is just a good, I don't know how.
All around, just.
I feel weird saying this. You guys can probably guess why. But yeah, basically just a good person, good competitor, you know, someone who, you know, everybody looks at as like a good presence in the paddock and a positive presence. And I should also clarify, so not only is it given to a racer that's a good presence in the paddock and everything I said before, but it has always been given to a yellow plate to an amateur racer. That's what's always happened. And
so back to 2016.
Yep, so that back to 2016 when I was an amateur, that's, you know, obviously I would have been eligible for it then. And again, it's not an award I'm like trying to seek out. I just, with everything that happened that year, and it was my last year as an amateur, you know, I was more aware of it. But fast forward to the banquet last weekend, and Rick Brewer is going through the description of the racer, and I can't remember everything he said, but he started going through, you know, they started racing, they've always been around, and explain what the award was for. And as he's going through, I'm trying to figure out who he's talking about, because everything he started out initially was very like broad, I guess.
I figured it out well before Ryan did.
Well, and yeah, other people did too, apparently. Well, and then when Rick, I can't remember where Rick got to, but there was a point where he started talking about doing you know, this person also does photography and they control ride and they do journalist work. And I was like, huh. And then when he said SV650 for 2 different generations, then hopped on an R6s last year, I knew it was me. And like I said, I just kind of blanked. Because I obviously wasn't expecting it. Even now, I don't even really know what to say, because and there's a lot more I wanted to say when I went up, because I had to do a speech when I got up there, and there's a lot that I wish I had said, and that's part of the reason I'm doing this video. But yeah, I just blanked. I remember a couple things I said, and I still was just speechless, because, you know, like I said, the award has always been given to an amateur racer, so even the fact that they also just broke tradition and chose to give it to me, because I'm an expert racer now and have been for quite a few years, that like hearing that, I feel like that probably means more than I realized, but I don't feel like I really did anything special out of the ordinary to deserve it. There's a lot of people that, you know, you could argue deserve it, and when I asked, you know, Kevin and Jonathan, the Learning Curves coaches, they explained, you know, how they arrived at the decision, and, you know, like I said, they decided. Apparently, I broke the rules for them or whatever, but it just
kept coming back to your name.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm bragging about myself. This just feels weird, but
I can brag about you.
I know, you have that right. But yeah, you know, and here's the trophy. And the award is called the On the Gas Award. I don't know how well you can really see that, but it's called the Learning Curves Racing On the Gas Award. So Learning Curves being our race school, and that's why it's traditionally given to an amateur racer, because obviously your first year, you're going to be an amateur. And first, I will say that award means more to me than anything that I've won from actual like competitive racing. Like this, and that's why I was so like speechless. Like
This is more than just a speed award. This is more than just you paid a lot of money to enter a lot of races award. This is a meaningful character, presence, racer, everything kind of award.
Yeah, and the fact that they felt that way, and you know everyone in the paddock, supported that and felt that way is just, I mean, it means I don't even have words, honest. And I know I said that in my speech for those of you that were there, and yeah, I wish I could put into words how much this means, and I really can't. Just because knowing, like I said, I want to always, belong and be there with my racing family, and so that to know that I clearly have had some sort of, I guess, positive impact is good. That it means a lot to me, and that's what I want. And because I want to make sure that we're all there and we're all having a good time and being happy, and so yeah, it's just wow. Now, one thing I did say in my speech that I remember is, the racing paddock, every race weekend, it's really like, it's like you're going to a family reunion or a camping with family and friends that you want to be with. And racing is just a bonus. We're all there. I can go, we'll go months without seeing each other because it's the off season, or even years if some people, stop racing for a bit, or if they're people that I've raced with a couple times that are from the East Coast or West Coast. And that happens. Like, there's people I haven't seen for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And then when I see them at the track, it's like we just saw each other. And that's what I love about it, because we all just have this common passion and common bond and thing that we love. And I cannot say enough how much I want you, if you have never been to a racing event, to a road racing event for motorcycles specifically, and I'm going to be biased and say specifically in our Midwest region, but it's true of any paddock, any racing series, for the most part, that I can think of. You need to experience it, because the camaraderie and the welcoming, I guarantee you will have not seen anywhere else. And I know I haven't been in every sport or done everything, but I guarantee you will not have seen anything like this and be welcomed. And one example I'll give is, I had a friend come out to the races when we were at Road America years ago, and he street rides. He'd just gotten a motorcycle, and he had a Buell, and it needed a special part to, I think, take the wheel off or something. He needed some special tool. It was the first time out there, and he came to my pit. We were talking. One of my friends came by that I raced with, who happened to race a Buell, and they talked for a couple minutes. And my buddy, I was racing, it was John Morrow, and he said, "Oh, well, I have that part. I have that. Just here it is. Or just use this." And my buddy Kyle was like, very like, "Are you?" Because like we just met, and you're just gonna hand me this special tool that you need? Because Kyle didn't like ride his motorcycle out there. Kyle was gonna have to go home, use it, and then bring it back later. Now, obviously, John knows that I know Kyle and etc. But like the fact that he just out of the blue, like he's never met him before. I'm just like, "Oh yeah, just take this. If you need to use it to work on your stuff, go ahead." And I remember Kyle came up to me afterwards, and Kyle's kind of a guy of few words. So the fact that he was just like awestruck of like, yeah, he couldn't stop talking to me like that. He just offered me this, like he's never met me. And he said I can just bring it back later and it's no big deal. Like he doesn't know if like maybe I'll break it or maybe I'll lose it or something. He's like, that's just how it is there. It's totally normal. And the fact that we're gonna, if I'm racing against someone and they're on the same bike, or even if they're not, and they have a mechanical or they crash and they need something fixed, I'll go over there to help them. I will lend them parts to get them back out on track.
They can be your biggest competition.
Yeah, we can be tied for points. It's coming down to this last race. I'm going to make sure you get out there because I want you at your best to know that I'm going to bring my best because I want to earn that. And I know for a fact in other series like car racing or other like normal, we'll say sports, like you're not going to go do that and help your competitor. It's going to be, well, sucks to suck. And again, I think it comes back to the fact that it's just motorcycle racing is inherently more risky and more dangerous. And hopefully no one gets mad at me for saying this because I'm not trying to compare the two because I know it's wildly different. But just from people that I know that are that are currently or were in the military, because there's a lot of people that race with us that are current or former
military.
And I've talked with them about it, and it's, you bond through that risks, you know, like in the military, if you're, you know, when it's, you know, that it's a very broad statement to say, but it's like when you go into battle together, like you have that inherent respect, and you're having that risk together, so you have that trust and risk, or trust and respect rather.
Yep.
And motorcycle racing has that same kind of, we have this risk, so we have this respect. We understand it. If I go meet someone I've never met, and this has happened on, you know, like when I went out to the West Coast and helped out Pat, like there's people I'd never met, but since we both race, like we have that common bond. We can understand what that is and what that means and what that sacrifice is. And I think that's a lot of the reason why that's the way it is. But even outside that, even at track days, it's the same thing. It's similar.
It is.
You don't have the like, oh, you just crashed and we're gonna race each other kind of thing. But people will go out of their way to help each other. And that's why I really wish and really want any of you who have ever had any interest, go to a race. Go to a race and experience that and be part of it. If you have friends that race, like come out and support them.
I can talk you through it.
Yeah, and it's, you will come away with like, not just the memories and seeing this awesome racing, but you'll become part of that community and that family, and you'll experience that. And I guarantee you can't really experience anything like that anywhere else in a competitive setting like that. You know, there's a racer that I've been following who summed it up really well. His name's Chrissy Rouse. He was a British Superbike racer, and unfortunately he passed away. I think it was the beginning of last year, or the end of 2022. And he has an Amazon Prime. He has a documentary, and I think it's called Chasing the Championship. I highly recommend it. If you have, it's a few dollars to buy it. Like, definitely go watch it. And it's very well done. He was very popular in the paddock. Really nice guy. He was actually a school teacher. And he talked about what racing means to him in an interview, and he said that if you could take that feeling that you get after a race weekend, a good race weekend, or after a win, and if you could bottle that feeling up and sell that, you would be a multi-gazillionaire. And it's, you know, when we say the highs are high because the highs are high because the lows are low, that's case in point, because there's a lot of lows. Ask me how I know. But that's what makes the highs all worth it. It's, you know, you're sitting in your garage and pulling all-nighters to swap engines and get your bike ready to go out and race against your competitors, to put it on the edge and put it on the line. And that's what it's all about. You know, I was just watching another documentary recently about the Isle of Man TT, and Peter Hickman, one of the racers, basically talked about how people were asking, like, how can you do this? Like, what drives you to keep doing this? Because he's a multi-time Isle of Man TT winner, and you know, he basically said that risk and that fear close to the edge makes everything else around you, like, appreciate things more, and it makes you feel more alive. And I know that's very cliche to say, like, the closer you are to death, the more you feel alive, but in a lot of ways I think that's true, and it makes sense. But what Chrissy said always has resonated with me, and I truly believe that, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because like I said, I thought getting this award is a good kind of, I guess, excuse for me to say and talk about what racing means to me and why you should come check out racing, because it is unlike anything you'll ever experience. And anyone that I've ever brought out there, they get it. And they understand that. And everyone is so welcoming. I can't even put it into words.
Well, and it's something, even my family grew up as NASCAR fans, IndyCar fans. Anyway.
I'm not a NASCAR fan.
Anyways, so I grew up at the racetrack, the Plymouth dirt track, isn't far from us, so I'd watch the sprint cars every Saturday night.
When you were basically brought up to like fear and hate motorcycles.
That too.
Now look where she is.
And honestly, I as I got older, I kind of got away from any interest in racing. The extent of my, okay, I want to go watch some racing is standing on the top of my car after lifeguarding, watching the, you know, sprint cars race at the dirt track for like a race or two, and then I'd head home. But being a part of the motorcycle community, the motorcycle paddock, it's something that I, as somebody who thought I was going to have no connection to it whatsoever as I got older, I look forward to it every summer. And when we miss a weekend for any reason, whether it's a commitment that we have, bad luck, XYZ, I'm disappointed as well. So it really is truly a unique family and something that even if you have no interest in racing, come check it out. It's a really cool experience.
Yeah, it's cheap to go watch, and you can get, especially with our series, you can get really close to all the action. You know, the tracks we mainly race at around here in Wisconsin, Illinois, it's mostly Blackhawk Farms, which is down in South Beloit, Illinois, which is just across the border, Wisconsin state border. And we also do track days. We don't race at the moment at Road America, but we're out there some for track days, like I said. And then other spots in the Midwest region, it's kind of broadened out. You know, we'll get out towards like Pittsburgh now, and
Gingerman.
we should hopefully we'll be going to Gingerman in Michigan this year. But honestly, if any of you are interested and you've never gone, and reach out to me. I'd love to host you for a weekend or even for a day. Come out. You can hang out in the pits. You can help do my pit board and signal me during the races, and you can get really close to the action and just see how everything is. And I promise you, you will have a good time. If you don't, then I don't know what's going on. Like, you must not be physically living anymore. Yeah, it's awesome. And like I said, if you're interested in it, ask me questions if you want to know more. And like, just Rick, Jonathan, Kevin, everyone in ASRA, all the staff, corner workers, thank you for all the work that you put in so we can go and do and enjoy the sport that we love. You guys do not get enough recognition for all that you do. I know we only really come to you with complaints.
It's very much a labor of love.
It is.
So thank you for that.
Yes. And again, thank you to all my fellow competitors and for all of you that support me and support the channel and check out these videos. Like I said, if this just gets like 1 or 2 people out to the track, I will feel like my mission's accomplished, because we need more people to come out and watch, and you're missing out. I don't know, I can't say that enough. You know, if the weekend's good, if it's a good weather weekend in the summer and you're looking for something fun to do that's cheap to go watch, and you're gonna have a unique experience that you'll never have anywhere else, come watch racing. Come out to the track. I promise you, you'll have a good time. I promise you. So, that's all I can think to say for right now. Do you think I covered everything?
I think so.
I still can't believe I got this award.
It's pretty special.
Yeah.
I cried. I
mean, I'll admit, yeah, when I got back to my seat, like, I could feel the tears welling up. That's part of the reason I kept. Part of it is because I didn't know what to say, and 2, like, I could tell like I was getting pretty emotional, because there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot that's happened in and out of racing that's pretty crazy. So thank you again, and we will be back for more soon. See ya.